Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, you don't see this very often where the police actually raid a cruise ship. That's right. Recently, the Ruby Princess, tied up in Sydney, Australia, had the police jump on board and raid the ship looking and investigating into possible breaches of protocol as far as letting people into the country who had tested positive for an infectious disease. We all know that over 600 cases have been directly linked to people who got off the Ruby Princess, whether they were passengers themselves or it spread to other people after they get off the ship. And a lot of scrutiny has been pulled in as to why people were allowed off with zero testing, from on board. There's actually emails back and forth from the health officials in Australia and the doctors on board, where the doctors state we had 19 passengers. 2 of them are pretty serious and the rest have flu-like symptoms, but we have no tests on board for the virus, so we can't test for the virus. And they were still cleared to land. The 2 people were brought to hospital and the other people were told to self-isolate. Well, okay, great. But there's still another 2,700 passengers on that cruise ship who were just allowed to leave, even though they had been in contact on the ship with possible infected people. So it didn't make sense. There's a whole kerfuffle. Right from the top of the government to the port authorities to the mayor to the doctors on board to the captain of the cruise ship, all kinds of questions being asked. So the police raided, and they actually said when they get on board, the captain met them, greeted them, and asked them what they would like, escorted them to everything, got people getting whatever they want. They even turned over the cruise ship's equivalent of the black box. What a black box, the black box, the indestructible box on airplanes. I still don't know why they don't just make all the airplanes out of it. It's indestructible. Seems like it would solve a lot of problems to me about my fear of flying. But they got, it's a recorder that documents all, traces all the radio back and forth. It, messages sent. It has all that information on it. They went on board. They interviewed the doctors, some crew members. They say they're going to interview possibly up to 1,000 people to see and get to the root of this problem of what exactly happened, where the mistakes were, and did somebody just mess up? Was somebody incompetent, or was somebody hiding something? And if somebody was hiding something, there could be charges laid, and that person could face not only just jail time, but involuntary manslaughter charges, where much more serious than I kept a secret, because people have passed away since leaving the ship and coming in contact with people from the ship. So it's one of the first times I've ever heard this happening, where they've confiscated a black box on board. But they said Princess is cooperating 100%, got them everything that they asked for, escorted them anywhere they wanted to go on the ship, and did not seem to be hiding anything. So it's very curious now to see what happens if they're that open with their communication, their black boxes, their interviews and everything. Obviously they feel they have nothing to hide. And so we'll see what happens next when government officials start being interviewed and questioned about those emails and why decisions were made. If they get as open of a response as the Princess Cruise Line so far has given the police authorities. Somehow, I suspect there'll be much more roadblocks in the way of the police when they're trying to do this at that part of the investigation than when they boarded the ship. Because it's government after all. Well, I hope you appreciate this video. I'll let you know what happens as we get more story on it. It's going to be very interesting to find out what happens in this situation. So I hope you appreciate the video. If you did, why not give it a thumbs up? Maybe check out some other of my content. Hit that subscribe button. And until next time, have yourself a safe and whenever we can, a great vacation.